Hello, YouTube. It's me, John Avenger, once again, and welcome to another Movies That Are Long and Very Long month. And this is a big one. Like, this is a franchise that has gone on to multiple books, multiple series, spin offs, and prequel films that we're getting to now. We got to the first one. I'm not reviewing all these films this month because there's way too many of them, and I don't want to rewatch them to have to remember everything from it. But I'm gonna take a look at the Harry Potter franchise. This is the first one. I'm talking about only the first one that came out back in 2001, and the film is about 2.5 hours. Yeah, I'll get to that. And it is the first Harry Potter movie with these cute little kids right here. Harry Potter in the U.S. This is what it's called. I know in Canada and in the U.K. they call it something else, but in the U.S. we have Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Yeah, this is the box set that my sister got a couple months ago. It's an awesome box set. It's got a lot of features. I bet nobody in on my in the Nerd Pack has this. This is the ultimate Harry Potter collection. Every single movie on DVD, Blu-ray, and the last two films I believe have the 3D Blu-rays as well. So yeah, screw 4K. This is the way to. This is where it's at. And if you love this franchise, this is the way to get it. I do like this franchise. I'm going to say this right now. As much as I hate Brits being in everything now, because this was at a different time. This is when they were doing their own films and they made successful franchises on their own without leeching onto Star Wars and Star Trek and all this other shit. Here it works because this is J.K. Rowling, who wrote the books, is British, so she wanted cast members that were either from England or from Scotland or Ireland or whatever. She wanted no American actors in the cast, and it works, especially in the first film. Now I saw this movie a couple months ago. I'm only talking about the theatrical version, which is like 2 hours and 35 minutes, I believe. Yeah, I haven't seen the extended version because the extended version is much longer and I haven't seen it yet. But the theatrical cut is fine. Like the extended version is just scenes that are longer. Basically, it's the film that starts the whole franchise up. You get to see Harry as a little boy. Daniel Radcliffe is a very likable young man. I think he plays the part to a T, and he'll always be remembered for this, no matter what he does in his career, from now until he's like in his 30s or 40s. He's a good actor. I like him as Harry Potter. He's a small boy that has to live with, because his parents are both dead. The beginning of the film and everything when he has this scar on his head. And if you haven't seen it, basically it was Voldemort that did it. And he's a great villain, by the way, but he's not in this movie. He's just they mention him, but he's like he should not be named. And I know in the comments, guys, you don't have to tell me about it. I've seen all these movies. You don't have to say, "Oh, Voldemort wasn't in this because they were setting him up for future installments." I know. Don't tell me. Nerd Pack. Do not leave in the comment section. Just say if you liked the film and what you liked about it and what you didn't. That's all I want to hear because sometimes I get fed the same information that I already know. But anyway, Sorcerer's Stone's a good start for the franchise. They introduce a ton of characters: Ron and Hermione and Hagrid and Dumbledore. I think Richard Norton played Dumbledore. Dumbledore, not Dumbledore. And he did a good job of what he was given. I know some people said, "Oh, but he died." So when they recasted him, it sucked. I'm like, it didn't make a difference to me. It's an old man with a beard, like Obi-Wan Kenobi in Star Wars, and he's there to be, the old mentor to Harry Potter and the rest of the people in Hogwarts. Yeah, things I didn't like. I'm gonna get to that first. I didn't like Tom Felton as Draco Malfoy. He's an annoying little shit. He's pretentious. His father is not a likable character at all. It's like, Harry, I'm gonna be better than you because I'm gonna rule all of Hogwarts. You know who my father is? And I'm like, he's just an annoying little snot in every single one of the movies. He's never likable. Even in the last movie, he's just a bitch, just like Kylo Ren. And I like the scene where Hermione punches him in one of the later films. I don't know which one. I think it's 5. And that was a cool scene because I'm like, I don't like Draco. I don't like that actor. I didn't like him in The Flash in season 3. Sorry, fans of Tom Felton. Emma Watson, she's very cute in the movie. This is her film debut. She has like long, curly hair. She looks very cute. I mean, look at her picture here. That's adorable. Yeah, the accents do get on my nerves. Okay, I've said it from day one. I hear this accent for over 2 hours, and it kind of sucks my American spirit out. but I like the characters. That's what I like about this franchise. I like the main characters. Ron, he's hit and miss. I like that when he's with Harry and they're exploring together and they're how close they are. I still prefer Samwise and Frodo in Lord of the Rings because that franchise is much shorter and it's only 3 films and they're long, but the characters have more time to be fleshed out. Here, Ron, there's other times in later films where he's kind of obnoxious, and I'm like, he's there. His kiss with Hermione in the last movie was completely unneeded, though. I mean, I couldn't even see the kiss. It was like all the way back here. It's like they're all the way over here and they're kissing, and they're like this close. I'm like, I can't even see the kiss. Show it a little bit closer. I'm not expecting tongue. It's a PG-13 movie. The last one. This one was PG because it was in 2001, so kids had read the books probably were thrilled when this came out in theaters. I didn't see it in theaters. I saw this in my college a couple months ago, and I was like, it's a good movie. I like Harry. He's the reason I watch the films. Daniel Radcliffe as Harry Potter, because this is the film where he gets his pet bird, whatchamacallit, his pet owl, and they send a mail and they're like, oh, come to Hogwarts and become a wizard, and he doesn't know that he's destined to be a great wizard. He learns early spells in the movie. I think they see a giant troll in the beginning of the film, and when they get to Hogwarts and they travel. I mean, I like the adventure aspect of the film. It's a fantasy world where there's dozens of creatures and trees and beautiful. You know why these films work? Because they didn't get dark until the fourth one, Goblet of Fire. And even though when they had darkness, they still had some jokes to lighten the mood. It's very well written stuff. I can say J.K. Rowling does have talent, unlike the assholes that are writing the new Star Wars because they don't know what they're just rehashing stuff. And the world of Harry Potter I like. I like the town and the Diagon Alley. I like the train station when they go to the train, on the way to Hogwarts. It's pretty cool. It's very imaginative. It's a big, massive world that J.K. Rowling created from her mind. And this is a woman that was poor and wrote these books, and she became a millionaire. And that's a good story for another day. But yeah, another thing I didn't like, the running time. I'm gonna say this with the same problem I had with the third Pirates. This movie's way too long. It is the first movie. This could have easily been an hour and 50 minutes. I know it's introducing the massive world and everything, but this movie is way too long. It's 2.5 hours, and I just saw the theatrical cut, and I'm like, you can get this pacing is a little bit slow. You gotta keep the ball rolling. Chronicles of Narnia had the same problem. It's just too freaking long. The first movie shouldn't be the longest, especially in a franchise like this. I mean, the last one usually is the longest. Like with Lord of the Rings, the first one's very long, but the third one is really long. And this one, I'm like, the whole beginning of the movie where he's with his aunt, his uncle, and his aunt, and they're assholes, and his cousin is a complete prick. They go to the zoo and he's like, oh, but last year I got 36 presents. I wanted to slap that kid in the face. He was such a little annoying snot. And yeah, I mean, they hide, they lock Harry in like a freaking closet and keep him away, from they don't let him get air, and they hide his freaking mail from him. I'm like, these people are assholes, and I'm glad that Harry got away from them because like Harry has to deal with their bullshit in like almost in like the first 3 films, and I'm like, thank God he left them by the third or fourth movie because I'm like, good God, that was scar a child. The Sorcerer Stone itself, was a cool item. It was basically the MacGuffin of the film. I don't remember too much of the story. I just remember, that Harry goes to Hogwarts and he gets his wand and they give him money to buy stuff, and also he gets he wears his hat, his wizard hat, like Mickey Mouse and Fantasia, and it chooses the group he will be in, and it's Gryffindor because he didn't want to be in the same team as Tom Felton's character, Draco, because Draco's an asshole. Yeah, he's a blonde, pretty douchebag that gives Harry a lot of shit and is always like, I'm going to one up you, Harry. And I'm like, yeah, I'm on Harry's side the whole time for all 8 movies. He's the reason to watch these films. He's the lead character. I'm glad this never became a freaking SJW franchise, along with Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, because I'm tired of that. You can have a female lead. Hermione's not in the film until like about 30 minutes. 30 minutes to an hour. And it works. It's fine. They introduce her. She's cute. She talks to Harry. She talks to them how to use the spells and all that. And she's likable. I also like the rest of the supporting cast. Freaking Alan Rickman is great as Professor Snape. He is amazing. His voice, I miss him. Rest in peace, Alan Rickman. You have whatchamacallit, Maggie Smith. I remember her from Hook and from Clash of the Titans. She's good she's not. I don't think she's a witch, but she looks like a witch. Like I said, the guy that played Dumbledore. Sad that he passed away after the second one. Um, and the films have great special effects. I will say that a lot of the CGI from back in the early 2000s looks really good. The three-headed dog, the Quidditch bug that they're when they're flying on broomsticks. That's pretty cool. See, imagination. That's why this is one of the most highest rated movie franchises of all time, and was one of the most profitable. And unlike the new Star Wars, I will say this right now. This is not a hobo with a stick. This is a master wizard that kicks ass and is very active and wears glasses, and yet he's still a more badass as a child, all the way to the last movie when he's an adult fighting Voldemort in the final act. He's a badass. And he dies once and sees Dumbledore later, but that's in the eighth movie. I'm not going to talk about that. But like I said, Harry's journey is interesting. That's why I like the film. The first movie, it's Sorcerer's Stone. It's really well done for introduction to this world, this massive world of wizardry. And to all the people that said that these movies are evil, they're from the devil, they're teaching kids how to use magic and witchcraft, I'm like, it's just a freaking movie. Okay? This is a movie series. That's all it is. And the books are just movies. They're not freaking demonic whatchamacallit, things of to serve the devil or anything like that. It's not Illuminati. It's none of that. It's just a entertaining fantasy adventure film with likable characters, an imaginative world, beautiful CGI, great cinematography. The score is amazing. I love the score in this movie. Yeah, it's one of the best John Williams scores. It's not Star Wars or Indiana Jones or Jaws. It's really well done. I think it sucks you right into the world. Like the title screen shows up and there's clouds, and then it sucks you right into the world. And Hogwarts, the schools, it's really massive. It looks like a college campus, and it's imaginative. Like that's what I'm going to say about all these movies. But the first one, great introduction to the characters, a good story, a little bit too long in the tooth. I think it could have been easily either 2 hours or an hour and 50 minutes, because there's some like subplots I didn't care about. But hey, that's just me. I like a fantasy film that's at least 2 hours or less, mainly because sometimes hearing an accent for that long can get on my nerves. Just my bias just starts to creep right out of me. But anyway, Sorcerer's Stone is a good movie. The first one, I definitely say it's one of the better ones. It's at least in my top five of the franchise because it had subtlety and heart, and Harry's very likable, and all the characters that are around him mostly, are there, and they're really fun. When they have to solve that puzzle with the what was it, the chess pieces, that was cool. See, imagination. That's why this franchise is gonna live forever, just like Star Wars. This Star Wars and freaking the Avengers, they have characters we remember. And I never read these books. Honest to God, I've never read any of the Harry Potter films, books based, that were adapted to film. Never read them, but as films, looking at them by themselves, they work. They're as faithful as you're going to get. Yes, there's a lot of changes they made from the books, but I don't care. Was the movie entertaining? The Sorcerer's Stone? Yes, it was. Or in the UK, they call it the Philosopher's Stone. But yeah, it's a good movie. I would definitely recommend it if you have not seen the films, but I would not recommend binge watching these movies because they're way too long. All eight films are about, like, I think 20 hours long. I don't know. It depends how, because they're eight films and they're each over 2 hours. So it's about 18 to 20 hours. It's a lot of Potter and it's way too much. But one at a time, I think the first movie is a great way to start. And it's it's definitely grown on me because I want to see it again. I see the extended cut, see what they added. But this is one of the few British franchises that I can get into. I will never watch Doctor Who. I'm not a fan of that. I will never watch freaking like Red Dwarf or Sherlock. I like Benedict Cumberbatch, but I don't know. It's my taste. The BBC is just not for me. This I like because it has massive spectacle and it has really good characters and it has a story that I can follow without being convoluted. Winkety wink wink, Lucasfilm. But anyway, Harry Potter is good. The first movie, I really enjoyed it. I think the weakest one of this franchise is the sixth one because I felt like it was a filler movie, Half Blood Prince. But I'll get to that eventually. I'm just reviewing the first one because it's long enough. So that's my review of the first Harry Potter. I want to review the others sometime later this year, or maybe for Halloween. There's a lot of creatures in here that are uh, basically Halloween creatures. You have a werewolf in the third one, and you have freaking the Dementors, where like they're like ghosts that suck people's souls out. I mean, I did play the games for this. I played the Lego Harry Potter games, and they're basically this, just with no dialogue, like a lot of grunts, and it tells a story in a much shorter fashion. So an abridged version of this can work. But what we got was good. I'm gonna admit it. It's a good movie, the first one. So thanks for watching, guys. Take care. See Harry Potter. I would recommend it, but do not binge watch it because it's going to be too much of your time. And one at a time. That's what I'm going to do if I see this again because it's a massive story, and you don't want to. I'd rather binge watch Lord of the Rings because it's only 3 films. The Hobbit, 3 films. Fantastic Beasts, we got to only the first one. We have 4 to go, and I'm looking more forward to that than any Star Wars movie. I'm sorry, this massive world is spectacle. You can watch this movie on mute, any of them, and you'll be like, "Wow, this is a world they actually created with practical effects, real locations, and CG that still looks great today." So take that with a freaking take that, put that in your pipe and smoke it, Disney. I'm glad you'll never own this. Warner Brothers has this for life, so fuck you for taking every franchise and running it into the ground. This made money because it deserved it. And that's all I'm going to say. See you guys in the next review.